First on 4, just hours ago, Governor Greg Abbott asked the Texas Department of Public Safety to retract its plans to begin charging local agencies for the usage of the state's crime lab. Several law enforcement agencies around the valley had serious concerns over those fees. CBS 4's Priscilla Estrada has reaction.
Law enforcement coming together and we're going to give out that unified message that we didn't agree with this.
After outcry from several police agencies and a letter from the governor, the Texas Department of Public Safety backtracked on the previous plan announced on July 20th to begin charging agencies for the use of state crime labs, a service that is currently free of cost.
The crime lab fee is the #1 service that the state of Texas can offer. You know, it's very important not only to law enforcement, but it's so important to the prosecution aspect of it.
The crime labs are usually used by agencies that don't have their own labs or funds to use private ones to perform tests like DWI and DNA testing.
Most of our forensic analysis is done through the DPS Crime lab in Weslaco. We send our DNA, we send our drug, we send our ballistics, and we send other forensics. The only thing that we do in-house is we do our own fingerprints, fingerprints identification.
DPS planned to begin charging fees September 1st and put out a preliminary cost sheet for certain tests last week. State Representative Oscar Longoria says Rider 58 was intended to help relieve the backlog of cases that DPS Crime Labs currently handles.
The DPS lab is there, but I think it should be there to probably handle more severe cases, stage of felony and upwards. I think it's kind of unfair to the department to handle Class A and Class B misdemeanors when many of those cases could be handled by at the local level. And if they're not handled at the local level and they feel a need to send the samples over to the Department of Public Safety, many times those are probation cases, and I think they could be addressed as probation fees or court costs and attributed by the defendant, and have the defendant take care of them rather than the taxpayers.
Longoria adds that the charges were not meant to cover cost, but to help relieve the funding that fails to help with the backlog of cases every year. The Department of Public Safety's crime lab system is set to enter the fiscal year with a shortfall of more than $11 million. According to the agency, general appropriations from the Texas legislature will provide $63 million out of the $74.5 million that it costs to run the lab every year. In Hidalgo County, Priscilla Estrada, CBS 4 News and ValleyCentral.com.